Welcome to the Under Construction Podcast with me, Martin Williams. Here we talk about how to build or rebuild your life one step at a time. Let's get to work. And welcome to the Under Construction Podcast. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You may do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. All the links to the podcast can be found at guidedexpressions.com/podcast with an S. And you can also find the links to the podcast on the YouTube, if you're listening on YouTube, in the the description box. It's early. Sorry. Today, what I wanted to talk to you about is clarity, right? And more to the point, clarity that comes in a way that we don't expect. So I work full-time while I am building my coaching business, and it comes with its challenges because sometimes, we don't get to choose how busy work is going to be in any particular week, right? There are some weeks where work is pretty calm and pretty tame, and then there's other weeks when it's hectic. So at this time, work has been a little bit hectic, right? It's been very just kind of nonstop, every day, right? This is go, 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 because I got multiple deliverables that I'm trying to accomplish, right? And so, once I get off work, there's really not a whole lot of energy to work on my business. I try to push through some things. If nothing else, I try to do the podcast on a consistent basis. But even that's a challenge sometimes. But I didn't start talking about this to gripe or complain. I'm very grateful to have a job. Very grateful that, I've remained employed throughout this entire process of, the whole COVID situation and everything else. So I am very grateful. But where I'm getting to is this week has been especially busy. I've been in busy weeks, but this week has been especially busy. To the point that sometimes I'm trying to remember what day it is and everything else. But it was a blessing that I went through it. It was a blessing that the week was what it was because it gave me clarity, right? A lot of times when you're a highly creative person, and I see myself as a highly creative person, you have a lot of ideas, right? And the problem with a lot of ideas is that you don't always know which one you want to do at the time that you need to do something. And so I had this whole list of ideas. There are all these things that I wanted to try and accomplish and everything else, but I have a limited amount of time, limited amount of energy as far as on a daily basis, right? There's only so many things that you can do. And so you had to make a decision on what am I going to pursue? What avenue am I going to take to accomplish what it is that I want to accomplish? And then there's times when you can't decide, right? Where a decision is very tough because everything looks good. Every option looks like a good option. And then there's some options that are better than others for different reasons. And so I found myself in a very indecisive state for an extended period of time. I know I needed to move forward in my business, but I really just didn't know what to do. And it's not something that I like talking about because a lot of times, especially in this field, I'm a coach. I'm supposed to be helping people, right? So it's hard to admit that I'm struggling with something. And, it's hard to, really face that within myself. But that's exactly what was happening. I was indecisive. I didn't know what to do. So what this week gave me clarity. I realized that I really don't want to do what I'm doing for the rest of my life. I definitely knew that. And I kind of knew that before, but I really know it now, right? That's the thing. Sometimes clarity, it gives you a greater sense of what you want and a greater sense of what you don't want. Because sometimes, we can be on the fence, especially if you're easygoing, if you're someone who kind of goes with the flow. I'm kind of like that, right? you kind of go with the flow and you kind of, you just like blend in or whatever. But for me, this week really gave me a level of clarity that I haven't had in a long time. I realized that I don't want to do what I'm doing for the rest of my life. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know if I want to finish the year doing it. I'm definitely ready to do something different. And part of that is really working on my coaching business and helping people visualize for themselves, right? Helping people to visualize for themselves, but also creating content, visualization content that people can listen to on a daily basis, right? To help their lives and help them move forward in whatever it is that they want to move forward in. And it didn't really, it didn't clear itself up the way that it did this week for me up until this week. It just was it was like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to go here. I want to go there. And, at some point, your whole persona, you just kind of stand still, right? And you don't really do anything. You don't take any action. So my message in this is that if you're having a rough time, I understand, I get it. And, I'm praying that it ends soon. And it does. If you just keep going, tough times don't always last, right? You may be flying through a storm right now, but you're going to fly out of it. And, you're going to move into something that is more calm. But when you're flying through a storm, what do you fly into? You fly into clear skies. You fly into clarity. And the storm that I had this week gave me clarity. And now I know what I'm doing. And I know that, okay, this is the move. This is where I got to go, right, for now. Now, next year might be different. 2 years from now might definitely be different. But today I know where I'm going. So clarity doesn't always come the way that we want it. You may be able to sit and meditate for 10 minutes and poof, get some clarity. That's cool, right? I like that. That's easy. Okay, let's go, right? But sometimes clarity means going through some really crappy stuff that it's not your fault. You didn't bring it on yourself. It's not anything that you did wrong. It's just that God is doing everything that he can to give you clarity in your situation because you asked for it, right? When you ask for clarity, be prepared for, whatever situation is required to bring you that clarity. It's amazing you talk to people who have gone to jail, whether, they belong there or not. And they come out and they have a greater clarity. They have a greater sense of purpose. Like my mom works with people who are ex-offenders, right? And so these guys have gone away for years. And, a lot of the guys that she works with, they spent the majority of their youth in prison because of, just mistakes, but, mistakes that they made as youths, 18, 19 years old, they made a mistake that cost them, 20 to 30 years of their life, right? And it's sad because I know when I was 18 and 19, I wasn't making the best decisions either. And I think a lot of people could probably echo that. And so my point in that is these guys come out of prison and they have a clarity. They know that they can't play around. They know that they got to basically build their life back, or they have to build their life for the first time, and coming home and not having anywhere to go and having no money and having no prospects. And so many of these guys, they succeed because they have that clarity of vision. They have a clarity, and the one thing they do know is that they're not going back to jail, right? That's the one thing they do know. They know they're not going back. And there's power in that. There's power in that. Sometimes knowing what you don't want is as powerful as knowing what you do want. And even if you don't know exactly what you don't want, what you do want, knowing what you don't want can move you forward, right? And so that's my message for this podcast. When you ask for clarity, understand it may not come on a silver platter. It may not come, in a neat little package, where you just had to visualize for 5 minutes and poof, there's clarity. Trust me, it can happen like that. It's happened for me like that. But sometimes it happens like it did this week, where you just kind of go through a really rough week and it's just busy and it's nonstop, and you realize, you know what, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to do something different, and I want to do something more, and I want to expand more in who I am as a creator and as a provider of service and everything else. Like, the clarity that started flowing for me, and I know that it will for you if you open yourself up to it. So I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to stop off here. Thank you for listening to the Under Construction Podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to subscribe to the Under Construction Podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. For more information on Guided Expressions courses and products, go to guidedexpressions.com/products.